Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Makar-Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that rule impeccably well. Shalom to the hopeful elect pushing his truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the globe in the sincere hopes of being delivered in these last days, alright? This is the brother Yakanan from the GMS England branch, and this is going to be a brief video, and it's going to be in reply to the recent controversy that's been brought to our attention regarding ISUPK, and one of their men basically saying that brothers on the west coast of Africa are basically Hamites, and the brother Yashalam, he uploaded the video, the clip, and his channel is GMS Watchman, and he, the brother is the brother Yashalam, who, by the way, that brother is from the west coast. His parents are from the west coast, in Nigeria, and he's of the the Yoruba tribe over there. And I've known that brother for many years. I'm talking about, man, maybe a decade and a half, man. Maybe 15, 16 years I've known that brother. Before, we came into this truth, into this ministry, before we were even called, that's been a very close friend of mine, and that brother is indeed an Israelite, just like any other brother that's involved in this ministry and laboring, in the truth and sincerity, of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Brothers, brothers from the west coast have evidently been called into this truth. Now let's deal with over here in the UK, all right, where you have a very large number of brothers in the London camp, the England camps over here, that are actually, if you will, derived from the west coast of Africa, man. You got a large number of brothers that actually derived from the west coast of Africa that shroud the camps over here in the UK. All right, so how do you explain that? All right, I don't think the Lord is going to be calling Hamites in order to preach this word in truth and in sincerity, and to be aiding the body of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai and spreading this good news. Okay, so it really just shows you that you got certain men out here that are just not spiritual. All right, and let's get that in the scriptures, man, because the scriptures speak about the natural man. Because being involved in this ministry, all right, being in this truth, you have to be spiritual, all right? And the only way you can be spiritual is if Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai has, put the spirit on you to be able to discern things which are of the spirit, all right? It's not something that, you can buy from a shop. It's not something that you can, just acquire without the intervention of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Now this is 1 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 14, and it reads, "But the natural man receiveth not the things of the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai." All right, so the natural man doesn't receive the things of the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, man. That's why you got these blockheads out there. A man will tell him that I'm from Nigeria, or I'm from Ghana, or maybe I'm from some other place in the land of Africa, and straight away they're just going to call you a Hamite. All right, now that's a base mentality. That's a low level, low-minded mentality that these men are running with, man. All right, and here it is, this kingdom's about to go down. Esau, Edom, all right, is on his last legs, and you still have men that are unable to get over the hurdle that our people have been scattered throughout the four corners of the globe. And not only that, concerning brothers that you know, ascending from the west coast of Africa. So you mean to tell me that, you know, during the transatlantic slave trade, you mean to tell me that you believe that every single so-called black man, all right, slave, was taken, you know, from that land? Of course not. You know, you gotta, you know, really you use your mind, man. All right, you gotta really think. All right, you think every single person was put on a ship that was an Israelite, okay, and brought, you know, to the shores of the land of America, okay, and you know dispersed, you know, throughout, you know, the Caribbean, so on and so forth. You think every single Jake was taken? Of course not, man. All right, you guys got to understand that we actually had kingdoms, we had establishments out there in the west coast of Africa, man. All right, you can go and look at the maps. All right, you can go look up this, you know, information, man. All right, but again, you got to be spiritual, man. All right, more than anything, it's all according to the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. You got to have the ability to discern spirits. Okay, now again, brothers out here in the UK, you know, we grown up together, man. All right, meaning that, you know, when we went to school, you know, when we went to college, you know, so on and so forth, we're constantly around, you know, brothers from the west coast. All right, you got a lot of Benjamites out here in the UK. All right, you got a lot of you know, brothers, you know, from Nigeria, brothers from Ghana, brothers from different parts, you know, of Africa, and a vast majority of the people that you're in contact with out here in the UK that are from the land of Africa, vast majority of them you're going to come across are Jakes. And that just is what it is, and that's a normality for us over here in the UK. All right, so that's not hard for us to understand. All right, because again, you know, when you go college out here, you go school out here, the vast majority of people you're going to be talking to is from Ghana, is from Nigeria, and different Jakes that you got that are dispersed throughout the land of Africa, man. All right, and they're all Jakes. You know, when I came into this truth, and then you think upon, you know, the people that you've had contact with and the people that, you know, you've grown up, you start thinking to yourself, damn, that was a Jake, man. You know, because you vibe with these people, all right? You vibe with these people on a certain level, to the point where you're like, damn, like, you know, if you never even knew what their nationality was, you know, their so-called worldly nationality, you would just assume that they were like a so-called, you know, Jamaican or something, because really we're all the same people. We're all Israelites. Now, in particular, I'll give you this quick story. I remember when I first met the brother Yashalam, you know, I met him in college. This is probably going back to probably what, 07, maybe, you know, 2007, maybe even 2006. I can't remember, man. But it was a long time ago, put it that way. Now, when I first met that brother, I made the assumption that he was, you know, a so-called Jamaican, all right? Because, you know, my parents are so-called Jamaican. But we got on so well, you know, my worldly mind just assumed that he was a so-called Jamaican. So when I actually found out that he was, you know, from the West Coast, my worldly mind was surprised. I was like, hey, damn, I didn't even know, you know? And I remember us not being in the truth. And I remember making that point to him, you know, when we were in the world, like, damn, bro, I thought you was, you know, from, you know, Jamaica, man. You know, because I've got a lot of family members that have his kind of look, you know? And again, you know, you people are not well-traveled, you know? Your mind is, you know, closed off. You don't really have that experience. So we can speak on this in a bit more depth, all right? Because we got the experience concerning, you know, these type of topics. Like I said, because we grow up around each other, you know? We grow up, you know, around a lot of Nigerians, you know, Ghanaians, so on and so forth. But back to the story, you know, I remember I made the assumption, I thought that brother was, you know, from Jamaica, man, all right? Because you got a lot of, I got a lot of family members that you would look at them and you would just assume that they were Nigerian, you know, so on and so forth. You would assume they were from the West Coast based upon, you know, how they look. But when you go deeper into it, it's really all a spiritual thing, all right? You got certain traditions that are the same, you know, certain ways of life are the same. You got certain lingo, you know, that they speak over in Ghana and in Nigeria that's the same as the lingo and the patois, as they call it, that's spoken in you know, the islands, all right? So again, you know, it's of no surprise to us out here, because this is how we grow up, man. All right, and we know we're the same people, you know. That's why we get along, you know, with each other so much through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Now back to this 1 Corinthians 2:14, it says, but the natural man receiveth not the things of the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, for they are foolishness unto him. You know, neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned. And you know, that's a problem that a lot of you cats out there that are not spiritual, all right, you don't understand that these are stumbling blocks onto you, man. All right, and this is an indication that Yahweh Shem Yahushai is not dealing with you, all right, because you know, here it is, like I said before, Esau Edom's kingdom is about to go down, and you're still stuck on stupid. All right, you're still stuck on, you know, a man's you know, outward appearance, or you know, a man's you know, where he's from, you know, concerning, you know, oh, he's from the land of Ham, so that means he's a Hamite. You know how simple you got to be to have that mindset. All right, you got to be real simple and real foolish to have that kind of a mindset, man. And that's the indication that you ain't got the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, man. All right, because that's not how you discern things. Things have got to be discerned through the spirit, like it says in this scripture. I'll read it again. But the natural man, so you're all natural men, receiveth not the things of the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, for they are foolishness unto him. Yeah, and I remember you had that clip, and it was an ISUPK clip again, and they were basically talking to, you know, this young man. You know, he looked like a very young man. He was like probably like 13, maybe even younger. And he didn't, I think it was Captain Tazariak, if I'm not mistaken. You know, Salakia, if you know, that's not accurate, but from what I remember, I think it was Captain Tazariak, man. And he was talking to the young boy, thinking that he was an Israelite, which he was an Israelite, all right? But listen to the story. And basically, Captain Tazariak asked the, you know, the young man where he was from, all right? Because obviously he looked like, you know, your archetype Jake. And then he said he was from Africa. I forget where he said, or if he even said it, you know, what part. But he said he was from Africa. He goes, oh, no, you a Hamite. You know, he just basically dismissed him because he said he was from, you know, the land of Africa, all right? Which that's stupid, because before you asked him that question, you've just made the assumption that he was one of your people. Why did you do that? Because based upon his spirit, you know, based upon, you know, the vibration that you were feeling off of him, you just made the assumption that, yeah, of course, this is an Israelite. All right, so you actually neglected the spirit just because he told you he was from the land of Africa, man. And that just shows you how base and how simple of a mindset that, you know, some of these men have, man. And, you know, it also bleeds into the conversation of, you know, brothers that look like, you know, Edomites, you know, brothers that have the flesh of an Edomite, or, you know, the flesh of any, you know, any other of these heathen nations that you have out here. You guys can't receive that, you know, them men are actually Israelites, even if they're out there, you know, laboring in this truth. All right, and let's get Romans 8. Let's get Romans 8 and 16, man. This is Romans chapter 8 and verse 16, and it reads, the spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All right, so the spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we're the children of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, man. All right, so it's all spiritual. All right, it's all about reading a man's spirit. Okay, if you got brothers, you know, the spirit's clearly dealing with them. They're going into prophecies. They're breaking, you know, the scriptures down. The spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai is on them. That is not something that a heathen can do. All right, the heathen can't tap into the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All right, only the prophets of Yahweh Shem Yahushai can tap into the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Let's prove that. All right, let's get Amos. What's that, 3 and 7? Right quick. This is Amos chapter 3 and verse 7. And it reads, surely the Lord power will do nothing, but he revealeth. All right, surely the Lord power will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets. All right, so any man you see out here, all right, that's going into these scriptures, all right, that's on fire, you know, that's at the camp, you know, clearly, you know, he's ignited, all right, in the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. That means the Lord has revealed these secrets unto that man, all right? Now, it doesn't matter what that man looks like. He could look like an Edomite, okay? You got the brother Napash out here in the UK. Like I said, it also bleeds into that subject, because the brother Napash, all right, he's purposely from Turkey, and the brother Napash looks like an Edomite, all right? He has the visage, all right, of an Edomite, but that brother's an Israelite, all right? And we can attest to that because we're around that brother, and we know that brother's spirit, and he knows our spirit, and we get on like it, you know, as we are one, you know, in the body of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, because, you know, Lord willing, you know, we are of that, okay? So that brother's an Israelite, and any other brother that looks any other way that's got the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai in them is an Israelite, all right? And it's as simple as that, man, all right? But again, you guys are not spiritual. So let me read this again. Amos 3:7, surely the Lord power will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets. So the Lord reveals his secrets, all right, unto his servants, the prophets, man. So anyone, again, that is at camp, all right, that has a spirit on them, that's breaking down scriptures, all right, that's, you know, clearly, you know, ignited by the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, and has an urgency to do this work. Any brother doing that, no matter what they look like, all right, is of Yahushai, all right? And that, it's as simple as that, man, because you might think someone is an Israelite and they ain't, all right? Just because they look a certain way, okay? And again, that's why you got to be spiritual. And let me get that in the scriptures, man, because the scriptures talk about the outward appearance. Hey, it's pretty cold out here, man. It's hard to even type. So bear with me out here, man. Right, here it is, 1 Samuel chapter 16 and verse 7. And it reads, but the Lord said unto Samuel, look not on his countenance, or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord seeth not as man seeth, for man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh upon the heart, all right? So you men are carnal, man, all right? You're not supposed to be looking on the outward appearance, you know, concerning, you know, brothers that look like Edomites and brothers that look like, you know, have the visage of the other, you know, heathen nations, all right? Because we were spread throughout the four corners of the globe, so you're going to have situations like that, man. And that's why, you know, it says in Numbers 1 that they declare their pedigrees of the house of their father, all right? It matters where your father is from, man, all right? And there's Hebrew communities to this day in the western parts of Africa, man. In Nigeria, you know, you got Israelites over there that know that they descend from, you know, the land of Israel. So it just shows how much you guys just don't know. All right. Now let me get right quick Deuteronomy 28 and 64, man, because we were scattered. That's part of the curses. This is Deuteronomy 28 and verse 64, and it reads, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. All right, so it's part of the curses that our people were going to be scattered throughout the four corners of the globe, man. And we were going to be amongst the other heathen nations, and we were going to serve the gods of those other heathen nations, man. Okay? So how much more onto this day are you going to have? You're going to keep having this reoccurring issue coming up of, you know, pointing at Jake and him not looking like your archetype, you know, Wesley Snipes, you know, Jake, and then saying that, nah, you ain't a Jake, man. You don't fit the color cast chart, you know, that we have here. That is not spiritual, man. That is like purely ridiculous, because Jake has been scattered throughout the four corners of the globe, and it's written there in the curses, man. Okay, so you're gonna have Israelites that don't look like, you know, so-called black men or so-called Latinos or so-called Native Americans, man. All right, there's a mixture that's happened, man. All right, because you know, when you research, you even go into the Moors, and you have that film. Slaki, I'm all over the place, but you know it's the spirit. You remember you have that film, what's it, True Romance? All right, where they were going into the Moors. You had that, you know, classic scene. You know, brothers have seen it, and he was going into you know, the Moors, man. All right, because you're gonna have Israelites, you know, that scattered, you know, in Italy. All right, we got brothers over there in Italy. You got GMS Italia, okay, and you got a brother over there. He don't look like you know, a Jake. You know, he looks like a so-called white man. One of the brothers over there in GMS Italia, but he's an Israelite. All right, how? Because the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai has him doing the work. All right, has him, you know, listening, learning, and laboring, you know, in this ministry. All right, so you're gonna tell me a brother, you know, is not you know, a brother like that, you know, is not an Israelite? Then you have the whole thing with Cornelius, you know, so there's a lot, you know, you guys are behind on, all right? Or it's a thing where, you know, you severely compromise yourself and you sold out. You know, that's another possibility that we have to look at, man. You know, maybe these guys are sold out. Maybe they've taken the bag. Maybe they've compromised themselves, man. All right? And they've, you know, they've adhered, you know, to, you know, the devil, Esau, Edom, into spreading confusion. And that's why, you know, the scriptures speak about, you know, marking men that cause division. All right? And let's get that real quick. And again, apology, you know, if I'm all over the place, but, you know, when you got a flurry of things come into your mind, man. All right, let's get this, man. We're going to close out soon. This is Romans chapter 16 and verse 17. All right. Now it says, now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause divisions and offenses contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned, and avoid them. All right. So that's what we got to do. And, you know, that's why we're defenders of the gospel of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All right. Because we got to mark you for causing division. All right. You're trying to scatter, you know, the Lord's people. All right. We don't need you scattering the Lord's people, man. Because we're in a time when Yahweh Shem Yahushai's people, beginning with the elect, are actually coming together. But you're trying to cause confusion, and you're trying to scatter, you know, the sheep of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, which is a very grievous offense. All right, that's a very grievous offense, man. And if you guys don't repent, all right, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai the right way, then you will be destroyed, man. All right, you will be destroyed. Okay, like I said, because we're in a time when everything is being solidified. You know, Esau Edom's kingdom is going down, and you're trying to disrupt that process by causing confusion. Okay, about, you know, about brothers on the West Coast saying Israelites, man. That is a base. That's a base statement, man. All right, and that's coming in the vibration of Esau Edom. All right, I personally think, you know, you guys are sold out, man. You know, I personally think that you guys are sold out. You've either sold out or you're just extremely simple. All right. So with that, Lord willing, you know, this lesson was edifying. And until the next time, I'll say shalom.